share their research findings and experiences in aerospace engineering. The theme of the conference is Autonomous Airborne Systems, Trends, Challenges, and Opportunities. Various special topics of interest have been identified for this conference, including blended hybrid wing body designs, electric mobility, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and digital twins, being at the cutting edge of groundbreaking aerospace technologies. The conference program is planned to have many plenary sessions from international experts, paper presentations, panel discussions, and tutorials, spanning the aviation, space systems, aeronautics, airborne defense systems, unmanned aerial systems, and urban air mobility. Visit the conference website at www.saeindia.org/aerocon2022 to know more it. Submit your papers and presentations for this conference, network with your peers and experts in the aerospace engineering community, and be in the forefront of aerospace technologies. AeroCon is the flagship biennial premier international conference organized by SAE India Aerospace Forum and supported by SAE International. AeroCon 2022 is planned to be held in Bangalore.
So you want me to say something? Good afternoon, Mani. Good afternoon, Arora-san, Maji-san. Good afternoon, everybody. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, you are audible.
Sir, yes, sir.
Sir, yes, sir. You are audible. You are audible.
Okay, thanks. We're just waiting for Mr. I.V. Rao. Moni, we have about 85 faculty members and students. You tell me when we can start.
I think we should start, Venki, because I.V. Rasan's slot is later. If 85 people are
okay,
should start.
No, I think he has joined.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Our president is unable to join. She has held up in another meeting. So I think we can go ahead and start.
Yeah.
I will hand this over to Hassan and then I'll get on to the other meeting. So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a proud moment for SAE India. One more initiative for the Engineering Education Board, especially for the students I think we have been consistently moving to serve the engineering students. This is another step. Thanks to the EEB board members for the clearance. You will witness a power-packed event. I'm going to hand this over to my colleague Hassan Qasim, who will actually take you through the agenda and step-by-step process for this curtain raiser event. All the best, students and faculty members. Thanks for joining.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Curtain Raiser event on academia and industry collaboration. Our nation is a growing economy, and engineers secure the faith of a growing economy. The true importance of engineering education can be measured by the changes we have seen globally. The world has faced indefinite challenges and crises in energy, development, climate, and other problems. These need some practical solution. SAE India, a 25 years old member-driven technical society and the largest strategic alliance partner of SAE International, along with Elite Techno Groups, is launching a training program which will enhance the industry readiness of our engineering students. Making a better world with a better engineering education. As a technological society, SAE India already conducts several iconic student competitions like Baha, Supra, Tiffan, Reed, and Eficycle. We sincerely believe the launch of AIC will further give the edge to play in the very competitive field of engineering. According to the AICTE, India has over 3,000 engineering institutions that offers both UG and PG in 18 different fields of engineering. SAE India has a 17% footprint across engineering institutions in our country. We have put together a program today that will explain how these pieces of training will help you as an engineering student to know more practical expertise in mobility engineering. Now we invite our first speaker, Mr. I.V. Rao, to start the session. Mr. I.V. Rao has played an active role in formulation of automotive regulations in India, and he is a visiting professor fellow in Center of Sustainable Mobility at TERI. He is working on studies about alternative low carbon technology options for future sustainable mobility. Since 1983, Rao has been with Maruti Suzuki for around 31 years, holding different roles. As the head of R&D and director of Maruti Suzuki Center of Excellence, he has been one of main architects of the company's frugal and cost competitive product development process for a complex market like India. We are pleased to welcome Mr. I.V. Rao San, former R&D head MSIL and visiting senior fellow TERI. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Can I share my PPT?
Yes, sir. Please.
Where is that arrow, yaar? Share. Okay. Is it coming?
I don't think so.
Not yet, sir.
Nayarana? It's coming?
It has come briefly.
No, that was something else.
Okay.
1 second, sorry. Are you able to see? Hello?
Not it, sir. Not it, sir.
Oh,
Do you want to send that to Hasina Ilango so that
oh,
you have a backup?
oh my God.
Yes, sir. You can reply to a mail. I just sent 5 minutes back. You can share the PPT of this.
So in the meantime, just for the rest of the team, this is Munirathnam here, chair the Engineering Education Board. How's the situation in your respective cities in terms of COVID? Maji-san? Professor Maji, how's the situation at your place? Okay, yeah. How's it in Chennai, Hassan?
Now it's good, sir, and the colleges is also reopening. The Anna University has announced they will be reopening on March 17 onwards. So we are back in shape now. So things are good here.
Yeah, then I hope the same thing across the country as well now.
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
Rahul-san, have you sent it to?
I'm just sending.
Okay. You want to play the video once again, the SAEINDIA video, Hassan?
SAEINDIA is India's leading resource for mobility technology. As an individual member-driven society of mobility practitioners, the ownership of SAEINDIA rests with its members who are individuals from the mobility community, which includes engineers, executives from industry, government officials, academics, and students. SAEINDIA is a strategic alliance partner of SAE International, registered in India as an Indian non-profit engineering and scientific society dedicated to the advancement of the mobility industry in India. The most preferred technical body for knowledge dissemination and skill development of mobility professionals, students and faculty. We are a trusted think tank advising policymakers on mobility-related matters. We are a self-sustaining society with more than 10% of mobility professionals as members. We are a nimble and professional organization creating value for mobility engineering community. The Indian government is also actively promoting indigenization with cutting-edge technologies by manufacturing them in the country under Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat.
Did you get the PPT, Hassan?
Yeah, I sent it. Has it received?
Hassan?
Yeah. This one.
Yes, sir. Is our screen visible, sir?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's visible.
Go to the blank slide. Hello.
Blank slide. First slide. Yeah. Make it a
Can I access this? Can I change the slides or you have to change?
No, he can only change.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we will change, sir. You can promote.
Okay. Yeah, let it be like that. Okay. Good afternoon. To all SAE colleagues, Mr. Muni, Chair, EEB, Mr. Venkat, DDG SAE Office, Mr. Maji, Professor from and Mr. Mayank, Founder ETG, the principals, the HODs and other teaching faculty from different engineering colleges and friends. I would like to first thank SAE India and ETG for this opportunity to interact with all the heads of departments and faculty members on a subject very close to my heart. I am very happy that EEB and ETG are coming together to work on a area which had been identified as by SAE as a focus area to upgrade the skill levels of students coming out of engineering institute to match the industry expectation. When this event was being planned, Mr. Mayank and Mr. Muni wanted me to speak. I accepted casually, thinking that it would be a general pep talk. Then Mr. Mayank clarified that he wants me to highlight the technology changes happening in the industry. Though I never planned for a PPT, this request has forced me to put together some slides to highlight this. Next slide, please. All organizations spend a lot of time and efforts to train the fresh engineering graduates joining the organization as graduate trainees to bring them to a basic level where they can take instructions and work. In my 36 years in Maruti, I had been to many campuses for recruitment, and the interactions have given me a clear picture about ignorance of students about practical things happening in the industry. And whenever I went to a college, I always interacted with the heads of the department to explain about the level of the students and the gaps. Next slide, please. I'm a strong believer that teaching is the most noble profession. And unfortunately, in India, the teaching faculty who create so many brilliant engineers or doctors, etc., are not cared well. I use this forum to pay my tributes to all the great teachers in my school and colleges who made me what I am. Next slide. Even before talking about the new technologies which are coming and which would be in vehicles which would be launched very soon, I thought I should give a very brief view of what all changes have happened over last 2 decades. Like if you talk about engines, they change from carburetor to fuel injection, single point to multi-point. The emission norms have graduated from E0 to BS1, 3, 2, 3, and 4, and then jumped to BS6 in 2020. And in case of transmission, manual transmission, we had 4 gears, we have 5 gears, and now we are talking about 6 gears. And in case of automatic transmission, we had 2-speed, then 3-speed, and now 4-speed. And we also have come out with a new variation of manual transmission, which is called automatic manual transmission, which combines the benefits of ease of driving of AIT and fuel efficiency of a manual transmission. And then the constant continuous velocity, continuous variable transmission, CVT. And in case of body design, we had started in a situation where there were no crash compliance required to recently introduce the offset crash requirements. And in case of windshield, we migrated from zone toughened windshield to laminated. In case of seat belts in the front seat to all seats, webbing type to ELR. I mean, this most of things are known to everybody. Next slide. In case of fuels or consumables like gasoline, we used to have leaded fuel. Now we have lead free. And now recently with the BS6 implementation, we have migrated to 10 ppm sulfur content fuel. And ethanol blending, we were with 0% initially, and now then 3%. And now we have mandated 10% ethanol blending from 2008. And we are also having compressed natural gas as auto fuel, and there are a lot of vehicles running on natural CNG. And AC gas, we used to use F12 as the refrigerant, and now we are with R134. And in case of brake linings, we used to have mostly asbestos-based brake linings, are migrated to asbestos-free. Next. Based on my exposure to students who continuously join Maruti graduate trainees over the last 30 years, and my participation in campus interviews and also interaction with various student groups and faculty members at different things, basically, I feel there are 3 main issues which needs to be addressed. One, the curriculum. The curriculum in many colleges is dated. I think it needs upgradation to be in line with what's happening in the industry. I'm not talking about the detailed applications of technology, but basic technology should be taught in the colleges. The second gap, which is a big gap, is the teaching methods, which I personally feel is not in phase with the technology, and the teaching faculty. I will just elaborate these things right now. And also the other issue is the Generation Z students who are now in colleges. All these are resulting in the students coming out of colleges not up to the expectations of the industry. Like what I was trying to say is when the teaching methods have to modified in line with what is the technology in terms of considering the students who are the new generation, which are very comfortable with use of computer and searching in various websites, etc. The teaching method needs to be more explorative from student point of view than what it is. Let me first say that whatever comments I am doing are based on my observations in most colleges. And I am very happy that there are a lot of college institutes which are doing extremely well, who are really encouraging students to come out with various innovative ideas to do new things. And also they are creating a lot of facilities to make students explore things to themselves. I apologize if I'm hurting anybody's sentiments. My intention is not that, but my intention is to highlight what are the issues the industry is facing and what are the areas which we need to attempt to overcome these things. Next. Yeah, next. This basically Maruti, which was established as a joint venture with the government and Suzuki, 82, which launched Maruti 883, actually has revolutionized the Indian auto industry. And subsequent to this, a lot of with the liberalization of foreign direct investment, etc., almost all international manufacturers have come into India, and there is cutthroat competition with reference to what is on offer for the customers. Next. Yeah, this is what more for initial like till mid 90s or so, most of the vehicle requirements were choice were based on what is the value it's offering and how trustworthy is the brand and the basic quality and reliability of the vehicle. Now people are looking for more, a lot of importance to the basic styling of the vehicle and what new technologies are being used and what is the experience using the vehicle. The vehicles are not looked at as a mode of transportation from one place to other, but people expect much more in the vehicle than just transportation. They expect all the facilities of a drawing room, comfort of drawing room, and also ability to continue whatever activities they would do in a drawing room sitting in the car. That is the customer expectations what is coming out now. Next. Next. Yeah, this is basically to highlight. Go back here. Go back. We are going forward. अरे क्या हो गया? अरे you are going ahead. Stay there. Yeah, stay there. Stay there. This is basically 3 generations of Swift which have been launched by Maruti. One 2005, 11, and 18. The point I wanted to highlight was if you look at the latest Swift, it looks much smaller compared to the previous generation Swifts. But when you get into the passenger cabin, the passenger space is higher than the previous model, and the leg space is the best in among the 3. So my point, what I am trying to bring out is that with every model, when the model is being developed, a lot of things are better than the previous generation. What is being offered to the customer. And the weight, if you compare the weights of these models, the latest Swift is lightest among the 3. So when the model is being developed, one of the most important consideration is the weight of the vehicle, what is the scope for reducing the weight, and also the overall cost of the total aggregates which are going into the model. Next. Yeah, this basically almost all parts which go onto the vehicle or have regulation to comply with. All the functional components have to meet some requirements of these regulations, be lighting or emission or horn sound, etc., braking, etc. Next. The regulatory requirements are continuously becoming more and more stringent, and with recently implemented Euro 6 equivalent in 2020 and offset crash in 2019, our models, what we are developing in India, we are selling in India, are at par with what the vehicles are in Europe. Next. Yeah, the customers' interest in safety, the hygiene, and the acceptance of new technologies has changed over years. In till mid-90s or so, people were very hesitant to go for a new technology which is being introduced, and they never used to bother about what is the safety aspects of various models. But now people are aware of what's happening in other countries, and they are very particular about all these safety features, and also what new technology is being offered. Next. Yeah, this is basically a summary of what I just said. People give a lot of importance to basic styling of the vehicle. Then connectivity is one of the most important features, is becoming most important feature, because the user wants to continue doing whatever work he was carrying out at home, sitting in the car. So there is internet connectivity required, Wi-Fi, and also indication about the traffic congestion, so that he can decide a better route to reach the destination faster. And of course, there is awareness about safety in terms of airbags, etc., how they help save the passengers, and also in terms of emission, what emission norms they meet, how green is the vehicle. Next. Yeah, this is again basically there's a lot of focus on seamless connectivity of the vehicle, then the infotainment, and also the safety aspects of the vehicle. What additional features are there which would help the driver to avoid accidents, and also give information about what is the traffic situation, etc. So more and more electronics and more communication related features are getting prominence. Next. The global trend is to have the connected, shared, autonomous electric mobility. As we also are experiencing sharing vehicle for trips with an unknown person through app connectivity is becoming very common. Uber, etc. are doing this. Then connectivity as such I has just explained, and then in US and other Germany, manufacturers are testing right now the autonomous vehicles, which would mean that driver will not be required to move the vehicle from one place to other pre-decided place, in a pre-decided route. However, still they are not approved for actual commercial deployment. And then the last one is the electric mobility. Electric mobility is gaining prominence because it will reduce the tailpipe emissions, and third, the actual operational costs and maintenance costs would be much lower because the number of moving parts, etc., are very less. So this is the global trend. And next, and also in India, the Niti Aayog has launched proposal to a proposal to promote electric mobility in India. Actually, they wanted by 2030 everything to be electrified, but subsequently, after a lot of deliberation, they have realized that it's not possible, and now they have actually working towards about 30% penetration of electric vehicles by 2030. So it would be a shared, connected, and electric mobility in India. Here, the electrification of automobiles has different issues with reference to different segment of vehicles and different applications. So the solution has to be found per segment, per specific applications, and which would make it viable. Next. Yeah, with electrification and also because of the connectivity and automation of lot of features on the vehicle, more and more computers are being used on the vehicle. So, I mean, it's almost like carrying a big computer on wheels. So, the role of computer engineers and software engineers, along with mechanical and mechatronic engineers, would be very, very crucial for meeting the future needs of mobility engineering requirements. Next. This is basically a snapshot of electric mobility, what all it needs to be operational in any country. Like it needs the charging infrastructure, then the power has to be green to get the best benefits out of electric mobility, and also the local manufacturing of all the aggregates which are required for electric vehicles. So government also is focusing on local manufacturing of most of the electric vehicle parts to get the same benefits. Next slide. These are some of the aggregates which are required for electric vehicles, which replace the IC engine and related parts, exhaust, fuel system, etc. So most of the vehicles which are being made right now are importing a lot of these parts from overseas, which needs to be actually reconfigured, redesigned for Indian requirements and locally manufactured to get the best benefits of the cost, etc. So this is a big tall order because till now electric motor etc. which are being made are not for automotive application, and automotive application needs much higher reliability of operation of these things, and also Indian road conditions, the climatic conditions etc. need special attention to make them reliable in Indian usage situation. Next. Yeah. Basically, though government is asking, promoting the electrification of powertrain, the industry is still working on various ways of meeting the CO2 emission norms with and without so-called electric vehicles. So they are adopting alternate fuel route to reduce CO2 emissions, CNG or ethanol. And also the government is working on ethanol blending, 20%. The Ministry of Surface Transport is talking about a flexi engine vehicles to cater for any percentage of ethanol blended gasoline, and also hybrids as a means of reducing, improving the efficiency by about 30%. And ultimately electric vehicle. And then there is also a discussion regarding the use of hydrogen as a automobile fuel. But the problem right now is how to generate green hydrogen, which would be sustainable. So once the hydrogen is available, then the fuel cell would be the next technology, which would be very appropriate for heavy long haul vehicles like HDVs and intercity buses, etc. That is the basic brief presentation about what technologies are changing in the automobiles. And one of the problems, what I understand, is with the mushrooming of engineering colleges late 90s, there is acute shortage of good teaching faculty. As a result, many colleges are inducting their people graduating from the college to teach their juniors immediately. So, I mean, I am not generalizing about the quality of teaching faculty, but this type of colleges are also existing, and it's very painful to see engineers working in some component manufacturers for a low salary, lower than what a typical driver gets in Delhi. So it's very painful to see such situations. I mean, that's happening because these engineers passing out of some colleges are not able to, I mean, present themselves sound in engineering, and as a result, they end up with some very small organizations paying very, very low salaries. And as I mentioned, there are exceptions to exceptions, and there are a lot of colleges which are doing very, very good work in terms of encouraging students to participate in various activities in addition to the so-called engineering curriculum. And also, they are actually open about including a lot of things other than what is there in the syllabus. And SAE India, as you all may be knowing, like Engineering Education Board organizes various competitions for engineering students where they have a chance to conceive, design, develop, and also test various systems, and also do the durability rounds like Baha, Supra, Epicycle, etc. And I am very closely associated with the Supra and Epicycle events, and every time the event happens, I make it a point to talk to the students and also the faculty advisors who accompany the student teams. And the feedback what I got in at least last 2-3 rounds of interactions is not very encouraging in terms of the faculty advisors telling that the college does not allow him to get associated with the event. Where the SA India insists that there should be a faculty advisor for these teams who are working on these various vehicles for the participation in the competition. And also, the students spend their own money to meet the expenses required for these whatever vehicle they are developing, and also their own money for traveling to wherever the competition is happening and meet all the requirements. And also, many colleges don't have any infrastructure to support such activities by the students. I think we should look at developed countries and understand exactly how they are supporting students in these activities by providing the minimum facilities so that they can dirty their hands working on various projects to understand themselves better. I mean, coming from Maruti with a Japanese background, Japanese believe that unless you do yourself something, you will not understand things well. So, if somebody is working on any of these competitions in true sense and doing design and making parts, etc., they would have understood all those things very well. And this is what I'm talking about is basically the component.
Okay.
Component basic design from point of view, but in addition in manufacturing also a lot of changes are happening, and we are talking about industry 4.0, and most of the things are getting automated and connected so that sitting in a cabin you can really control what's happening in the shop floor totally without human intervention. And the engineer's job would get shifted to developing all the software and hardware which is required for facilitating all these things. So, I mean, I am not trying to criticize what's happening. As I mentioned in the beginning itself, I owe my position to whatever I have learned from great teachers I had in my school and college. I am not trying to belittle anybody. I am only trying to highlight the problems, and is a genuine problem. Like many colleges don't have a lot of any facilities, and they are churning out engineers without proper skill. And the other point which I would like to highlight is about traction with the industry. When I was a student, we used to crave for visiting an industry, and situation remains more or less same even now. And also the internships for students should be made compulsory so that they have compulsorily work in for duration can be decided 2 months, 3 months, or 1 semester. In a organization to understand exactly what's happening and learn actual the way things are done. Because there is a lot of difference between what we are taught in the college and what actually happens in the. So it's also important to understand how things are done in the industry. Typically, any engineer joining Maruti used to say, when can I design a vehicle? I mean, that is the expectations. And to make a fresh engineer to understand a typical drawing is made and how to make all the details on the drawing takes time. So that is also a gap. So my humble request is that we should think differently and try to plug these gaps and try to make our engineers industry ready so that not only the industry but also the engineers will be benefited, and so also the educational institutes. Please apologize me if I hurt anybody's feelings. My intention is not that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Rausan, for the wonderful background information and what is the latest technologies. Hassan, are you there? Or if not, we can request Professor Maji to present his views. Professor Maji, I think you should.
Yes, sir. Are you audible now?
Oh, yeah, okay. Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Intro.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Rausan, for your wonderful insights. Now we invite Professor Maji. Dr. S. Maji, a professor in Delhi Technological University, is presently working as campus director at Delhi Skills and Entrepreneur University on deputation. He has completed his bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from Delhi College of Engineering, DCE, now known as DTU, M.Tech from IIT Delhi, PhD from Faculty of Engineering, University of Delhi. He has worked as a scientist at CSIR, Indian Institute of Petroleum, Dehradun, for 10 years and associate professor and professor for 30 years at DTU. Professor Maji was conferred Ralph R. Tidor Educational Award in 2001 by SA International USA, Guru Award in 2014 by SA India Foundation for extraordinary contribution to automotive engineering, education and research. Professor Maji was UNDP Fellow in 1986 to 87 at the University of Zwickau, Germany, and ACRC Fellow during 1998 at IIT Delhi. Professor Maji has more than 150 publications, 2 patents. He has guided 11 PhDs, 1 postdoctoral fellow from South Korea. Professor Maji is also a member of our SAE, Fire and Security Association of India, SAE India Publication Board, SAE India Foundation, Faculty Advisor for SAE International Student Chapter, Vice Chairman Publication for SAE India's Northern Section, and Faculty Advisor for SAE Student Chapter DSE. With that, over to you, sir. Professor Maji, please take over.
Thank you very much. I think, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
You are loud and clear, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
You are loud and clear, sir.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Mr. I.V. Rao, Moniji, Mr. Mayank, my dear students, faculty members, ladies and gentlemen. Probably Rao Saab has already given you insight of what is the change in technology, and you have to probably adjust in this situation that colleges have got a big task to make the student ready for working in this highly upgraded technology. he has started with that, emission norms. Actually, he has told that what was the emission norm and what is today. Actually, I was, as I was introduced, I was in IIP Dehradun. We used to measure the emissions from vehicles in Delhi way back in 1985-86. We used to camp in Delhi and used to request the people that please give your vehicle, we'll test it. And those days we found, and then some vehicles we took to the chassis dynamometer and tested. And those days we found almost all the vehicles' total emissions was about 35 kilometer per hour. 35 gram per kilometer. Today, emission, as Rao Sahab has mentioned, that we are following BS6. In BS6, a total emission from a diesel vehicle is about diesel car is 0.67 gram per kilometer, whereas in petrol vehicles it is about 1.16. Very stringent, and you probably cannot imagine how much technology has changed, and this technology is changing every day. Whatever we are teaching in the class today, and by the time, say, I am teaching a third-year boy, and after, when they go to the industry, they found something different technology. And so, my dear students, the challenge before you, and also to the faculty members, the challenge before you is to make them industry ready. So, your institute has to be very much, planned properly. You have to cope up with this tech. You have to impart knowledge so that they can be at least nearly ready. I'm sure that because I am a teacher, I understand that I cannot make it industry ready, but there are at least it can be made nearly ready. For that, probably you have to have some proper planning. One of the planning is that you have to have a good relations with industry, and SAE is one of the platform through which it is possible. Because I myself have done is, way back in 1995, I started a student chapter in Delhi College of Engineering. SAE, that time it was SAE International. That time SAE India, of course, was not there. Then, of course, but I was, immediately I got touch into especially Maruti people and Hondas, etc. Because I started SAE chapter, which is dealing with automobile. I'm talking about only one area, automobile area today. And, I found that when we have interaction with them, a lot of knowledge, what is happening in the industry. Because, by the time teachers get a book or a research paper, by the time industry is by the time all the technology is implemented, and our graduating engineers, they have to cope up with, they have to go directly work on that. And that is why probably this industry is giving first training about some industry 6 months, some 1 year, some 2 years like that. But the challenge before you is that you have to get industry ready. For that, what we have to do, really, the colleges, I'm addressing to the faculty members now, you have to have plan it properly. That means first and foremost thing is that you have a good contact with industry, and SAE is one of the body through which you can do it very easily, at least in automobile industry. Not only automobile industry, but there are many other associated industry in this. Number two, what I found in DTU nowadays, I find that it is a very useful to have collaboration with this so-called TRTCs. There are a lot of training institutes available in India. They are very popularly known as TRTC. There are many. I recently visited some very good institute like that. Like one is the CTTI Bhubaneswar. There are many like that. Then one Ahmedabad, etc. I've seen they are very good, and probably in colleges we are not able to give so much of technical skill. Probably you have to collaborate with them, and that is why that Kelkar report says that all the NITs has to be collaborated with this TRTCs, and that is one of the way. And otherwise also what we have done in our institute here in the skill development university, we have actually made a good team, with given the proper responsibility to the faculty members. Like we have made one faculty in charge for external relation and placement. So they will have, that faculty must be having very good, relation. They make very good relations with industry and placement. Then only the placement will be good. Then there will be, of course, under him, there should be some pre-placement in charge, some faculty members should be there. Then there should be some student development in charge, professional development in charge, then alumni relation in charge. Because alumni can also add, because your alumni is working in the industry, and they can help you a lot to bring very near to the industry. So these are some of the things which we can do for adding that. At the last, I'll talk something about SAE. On my own experience, I have joined actually SAE as I told you, 1995, when I started international chapter. And I have talked to many people when as I told, I got the TITAR award in 2001. I have talked to many professors all of the automobile industry. At least 10 of them were there in that award ceremony. And there also I found that how these Americans, Canadians, Europeans are doing, they are basically have a good, any project they take with the industry requirement. And you have to work hard, you have to do the good research so that industry uses your research. So first of all, that is why the role of the faculty in charge, external relations is very important. And the faculty in charge for another faculty in charge, maybe external relations will be required. So this is how it can be done. And SAE, I found that the leaders of SAE are very active nowadays. And nowadays, from the beginning, right from 2000, I've been seeing them. And probably you will get a lot of help from them. And I also appreciate that, that Mr. Mayank is doing. There are different modules, they're very useful. Actually, in college, we are not able to get so much of information and get these modules and all very quickly. Of course, they do it, they take time. So probably that will also help. So I'll request all the faculty advisors here that try to, make use of this program. With this, I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor, for your wonderful insights. Now we invite Mr. Munirathnam. He is an aeronautical engineer with postgraduate diploma in management. He has over 30 years of experience in engineering field, right from project management to operational management and establishment of strong organizations. He has worked in Germany, Holland, USA, and India for leading companies and was involved in projects like Airbus, BMW, Renault, John Deere, etc. He has been associated with SAE India since 2008 in various roles. He is the founder CEO of Java GM Consulting, which focuses on cross-border activities in engineering. He is a recipient of Dr. KCG Excellence Award for distinguished alumni from Hindustan Group of Institutions. With that, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Hassan. Again, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, Avi Rao-san, Professor Maji, Mr. Mayank, and good friends from the academic institutions, gurus of the country. A very good afternoon to all of you. It's an immense pleasure to be part of this activity today, and very happy and proud that all of you have joined for this interesting journey which we wanted to go through in this country. I have a small presentation. Before the presentation, as a disclaimer, like Rao-san said and like Professor Maji said, no demerit to our faculty. It is only certain statistics we are presenting. In fact, I will be presenting some study reports, what industry is talking about the current needs of the engineering students, basically engineering education. I'll present that. And of course, today the idea is to collaborate with the one of the most dynamic, I would say, organization, which is ETG. More details will be shared with you. I'll just go through the presentation. I need to share. Wait 1 minute. Do you see my presentation? Hassan, do you see my presentation?
Yes, sir. We can see.
Okay. Yeah, I just put it as engineering education resection. This is Munirathnam. I head the engineering education board. As part of the various activities, we have different forums and boards. So the engineering education board takes care of all the student-related activities within SAEINDIA. As Hassan mentioned, that we are connected to over 50,000 students in this country. So EEB takes care of a lot of various communication activities and ensure that we provide the best possible platform for the engineering students to learn whatever industry requires. Yeah, brief agenda. What is the current status on engineering education or the engineers as of today, and data and certain data and industry reports, areas of opportunities for engineers, what skills are required post COVID-19, and SAEINDIA ETG collaboration. Yeah, so basically I'm presenting some of the data. What is published, that is nothing's been created by us. So one of the article which India Today says is that employers want advanced skills in engineers, not just the knowledge, which all of us know. It is nothing new. We don't want the theoretical knowledge, but we want a knowledge which can be applied, which is required by the industry. So that is what industry wants. There was a study by National Employability by the government organization on this study called National Employability Report, which was done in 2016, where it said that they studied chemical engineering students, civil engineering, electrical, electronics, and mechanical engineering students. It's a kind of a pathetic status that less than 7.4% of the mechanical students or electronics or engineering per se students are getting absorbed directly by the industry. So where is this? There is a gap for sure. We cannot completely blame the education institutions or the faculty or the industry. I think it's a collective effort by both the supplier side as well as the receiver side. Okay, there is a collective responsibility. And like my earlier speaker said, with a rich experience, SAEINDIA is making a lot of effort. Not only SAEINDIA, but various other organizations are making a lot of effort. Faculty are making effort. College managements are making a lot of effort to see the gap is minimized, to increase the percentage of this employability. It will take some time, but we have to put our efforts. Interestingly, the late C. Subramaniam Bharat Ratnawadi did mention some back that true education should be able to produce an integrated personality in the individual. What is that? Integrated development of hand, head, and heart. It's a fantastic statement. It's a collaborative effort. I mean, as a student, you got to soil your hands, you got to use your mind, you got to, as well as you have to have a passion. That's what he says. And today, but however the situation is, today we see pathetic picture of the youths of our country adopting all sorts of subterfuges to get through the examination and get certificate. Just like sick man getting a health certificate without getting rid of his sickness. It's an interesting statement. But again, we cannot blame students. The ecosystem have to be revived or changed. Yeah, why Indian engineers are not fit for modern industries? There has been a lot of study, and I will present some few reports, which was, of course, partly highlighted by Rao-san as well. So there was a study by AIC just about 2 years back. These are the major areas. Again, some of them are very strong, some of them are manageable. So one of the important things is the lack of training and skill development. Current curriculum focuses on the theoretical aspect, certain amount of practical aspect, but certainly this needs to be addressed. And it says unqualified faculty, which I don't see, because AICT defines what is a qualification. So we need to upscale them on regular basis what industry needs. That's what is required. Then back to the curriculum. Again, who owns the responsibility? It is the government or the deemed university. And some of us, like whether it's Rao-san or Professor Maji, we are involved in updating the curriculum, what is industry requires. Some of us are on the board of studies, so we are trying to do our bit of contribution. And again, currently there is a net focus on grades, which I think we should change it, and things are certainly changing. I just would like to give a simple example here that about 2 years ago, SAE India was involved in one interesting competition called Range Extended Electric Vehicle. It was incubated with the help of a well-known industry, General Motors. We incubated that program. In that program, about 10 colleges participated. One of the, I would call so-called B or C category college, they actually participated. When they went for a campus interview, all the students who participated in that SAE event got placed in Infosys. It is not just because of the grades, it is because of their exposure to engineering, team building, communication, problem solving. All that was exposed to them during their participation in this REAP program. That way, I think I encourage all the faculty members here to encourage the students to participate in competitions. In fact, as again Hassan said, that we are connected to various colleges who have to proactively push and encourage the students to participate in this. And other, again, Lakana found out during the study was lack of international collaboration exposure. Here I see a lot of private colleges, they have taken a lead in international collaboration and exposure. They have taken a really big lead. Recently I visited one of the college in South India. They have a fantastic collaboration with international laboratories, international companies. I think that has to be encouraged. And parental pressure, all of us, I mean, whether it's a faculty or the people who are here, we are parents of some students, or we have been parents. Yes, we do. We need to change this mindset that students should not be measured by percentage what they get. It is the experiential learning what they get. I think this needs to be changed. So these are the major 4-6 areas I think we need to address. And there's a couple of other studies how one is what is lacking, but how the industry is also moving. If you look at some of the findings in the studies is that we should be said thanks to COVID or not thanks to COVID, but industry is changing. What they're saying is that more and more work opportunities will come in such a way that you have to work remotely. And it is not due to the mechanical industry. Today, let's say earth moving equipments or the equipments which are working in mines, they're remotely operated, remotely maintained, remotely serviced. It's not new, but adaptability is becoming much more and more, which means our students, the faculty or the labs had to inculcate this kind of approaches and accelerate the digital of work processes, use of digital tools, videos, and fortunately the current young generation, again thanks to this pandemic, they got used to this. I would even say that kids of 6 to 15 years, they got much more agility with this pandemic. And accelerate automation of tasks, that's increasing. There will be temporary reduction in the workforce, but I think we'll come back to that. Acceleration of ongoing organizational transformation, that continues to happen. This is a very important study done by McKinsey and Company. This is interesting study was done, how the occupational shift is happening in the next 10 years. Areas in which more number of job opportunities will increase and where job opportunities will decrease. I just highlighted in blue rectangles, for example, STEM, which means if you look at India, it is increasing. It's not reducing. If you look at the vertical column on the right-hand side most, everything is blue except agriculture. But let me read out it. STEM professionals, there's a need to have more number of them. Similarly, managers, when I say managers with the analytical thinking, etc., are required, not just the transactional managers. Transportation services, all of us are in this game. A to B, or you go from A to B, whether you go from A to B or the products are transported from A to B, all of us are using Olas, Ubers, Zomatos and Swiggies. What are they doing? They're moving people or products from A to B. That transportation services will dramatically increase in terms of logistics, in terms of technology, in terms of approach, optimization, etc. The young Indian engineering students to understand this depth of this, which means if they understand, they'll have better jobs. Then education workforce training, that's exactly what ETG is going to be. There is a tremendous growth in this sector. People with a lot of education have to get involved in this. Then mechanical installation and repair, which is obviously need for every product. Customer service and sales, and agriculture. In this slide, maybe some of you must be thinking, why this dark, but highlighted as a potential opportunity for Indian students. If you look at the last 20-30 years, the average land owned by farmers have reduced from 15-20 acres to 1 acre. The average farmer will not be able to buy farm equipments, large farm equipments, as well as they cannot employ laborers because laborers are becoming more expensive for various reasons. The freebies in villages. Okay. So what is happening is the small farmers are facing a lot of problems. I strongly believe that students today, mechanical engineering students, electronics, aeronautics, they have the opportunity to design small and micro farm equipments. In fact, SAEINDIA is encouraging this aspect as well. The TIFAN is one such program. So there are a lot of opportunities. We have to understand where the employability will increase. So you have to focus on that. I've been talking about the colleges as well as the students. So within this, what are the areas in which you'll have to focus? Is this analytical thinking and innovation. It's increasing active learning and learning strategies. Leadership and social influence, critical thinking analysis, technology design, programming, creativity, originality, and initiatives. Complex programming. So this is the order of the list in which people are looking, the industry leaders are looking for employees in these areas. Okay, so coming back to this, as my earlier speakers as well as Hassan said that we are involved with various activities for students. I'm talking about SAE. We have different approaches. One is the student competitions. We have this BAHA, the flagship program. We have Supra. We have various competitions, which is doing extremely well. Then second thing is faculty development programs and professional development programs. I want some of you to participate in this. And we are doing a lot of upskilling activity. In this upskilling activity, we are not able to address the entire market. We are not able to reach the entire student community of this country. We need more hands. And SAE, as all of you know, that it's a non-for-profit organization. We cannot do everything. So we need partners. So fortunately, we found a very dynamic, young, with an excellent mindset of skilling activity. So that is what it is today. So SAEINDIA has collaborated with Elite Techno Group, headed by very dynamic person, Mr. Mayank. Met him a couple of times, very dynamic. He's got an excellent team. So they will work very closely with the SAEINDIA team. and imparting and upskilling the Indian engineering students. Whatever we felt, whatever we talked,
इसमें सारे unmute हो गया क्या बात लिखा है you have unmuted all.
the last 45 minutes, whatever we talked, there is a gap, there is a thing. I think they will address that gap and we will support them. Okay, thank you so much.
ये मोबाइल में ही प्रॉब्लम है.
म्यूट हो गया सारे.
सारे में लिखा you have.
Yeah. So with this, I close my presentation. Over to SAEINDIA office. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your valuable insights. Now we welcome Mr. Mayank, a founder of ETG Group. He'll be delivering a speech on execution of this academia industry collaboration for the first batch and outcome for the colleges. Mayank, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Hassan. First of all, I would like to thank the SAEINDIA team and Engineering Education Board. I still feel like this is kind of a dream for us to associate with such an eminent organization. Thank to Rashmi ma'am, Rao sir, Muni sir, Maji sir, Mechatronics sir, for giving us this opportunity and showing their trust that this is the need of our where we have to join hands and do something for the engineering community across India. To begin with, I would like to showcase a presentation where I would brief you a little about what are the industrial trends, how colleges can strengthen their curriculum, how colleges can join hand with SAEINDIA and ETG to upskill their students to make them
ಯಾರು ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಜನ ಎಸ್ಕೇಪ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರು, ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ.
ಎಲ್ಲ ನೀನೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ,
ಮುಂದೆ
ನೀನ್ ಅದ್ರಾಗ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ತಿದ್ದ.
ಅಲ್ಲ ಮುಂದೆ ಹಂಗಿರಲ್ಲ ಹಂಗೆ ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂತ ಹೋದ. ಅವ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಏನ್
Yes, Mike, you can go ahead now.
Thank you. I believe my screen is visible to all. Yeah. So, if I give you a brief about ETG, we are we are proud to say that we are one of fastest growing edtech companies in scaling engineers, and that too undergraduate engineers across India in core and non-core domain. We have associated with top colleges. I think I can say 400 plus colleges across India. I have trained 1.5 lakh students by providing them industry exposure, and we have on and approx 100 plus industry experts with us who have taken this initiative to strengthen engineering in India. Without taking much time, I would like to show you how things.
What is the solution for this? अभी जो बीटेक स्टूडेंट है उसमें आधा बाहर है, अब इनको एग्जाम के
I think it's done. So yeah. So we see that SAEINDIA have created that flagship and introduced practicality in core engineering. Back then, I say it's been 25 years. We have seen such great events like Baha, Supra, Tifan. We have seen FE Cycle, and how SAE have created this platform for core engineers where they can strengthen themselves and learn and actually practically implement the theory which they learn in their academics. And it's been 8 years for ETG as well that we are trying to impart and expose students about such initiatives so that student can be a lot more active during their undergraduation itself. So we see that both organizations, SAEINDIA and ETG, have one vision and one mission, and that is where we see our goals have been aligning, where to educate and enrich, providing knowledge about mobility to the students and engage themselves through industry academia interaction. So there are a couple of pillars which I see here have also joined hand to make this program a very big and great initiative. So along with SAEINDIA, we got Altair, Siemens, and ANSYS, their partner body ARK, who will be joining hands and who have actually helped us to do an intensive survey on what are the industrial requirement today, what are the latest technologies students are working on, how industries are adapting and absorbing freshers. They have given us full authority and they have supported us. Ki Mayank, you train student, we will help from our side in licensing access to the student, providing certification which are directly from these organizations to the student who complete the program. And even the best part is they're creating job demands by recommending AIC, and they'll be helping us in that by recommending AIC students to industry where their products are being used. So I see a great moat, I see a great strength here when SA India, Altair, Siemens and ARK Infotech, Indian subsidiary of ANSYS, have joined hands to launch this program for students. Now let us try to figure out why we require such academia industria collaborations, why we need to strengthen colleges, and why this is the need of the hour. So there are 4 major reasons which we try to figure out here. First, the major misconception which I see in industry today, or in terms of student mindset or academic mindset, that there is lack of opportunity. So we don't have much opportunities, we don't have much jobs available in industry. What we will do by imparting these knowledge? I can say that you go to any industry today, you talk to them and ask about, are you satisfied with the level of engineers which you are getting in terms of freshers? Are these students able to technically contribute to your organization from the very initial days of joining? Are you the company who is not doing any sort of 6-month, 3-month or 9-month post-job or on-job training so that those students can start working and contributing in the industry? And you know the answers. So it is not like that opportunities are not available in industry today. It is like the right skilled engineers are not being mapped to the right industry. And that is where we see this gap. Second, why it is happening? If we say there are decent number of opportunities available in terms of internships and job, why then it is not being mapped? Because students we know the limitations. We know that something is missing in academics which need to be strengthened in terms of practical experience, industrial exposure, in terms of lot many opportunities or platform where they can perform and upskill themselves. That is the result where we are also seeing this decline in interest or decline in admission, especially in core engineering. And this is quite alarming. 5 years, 7 years, let's say 10 years down, if you go 10 years back in 2010, 12, the core branches were like the flagship program where students were dying to be part of them. And today we see there is a certain declination in interest, and colleges are trying to figure out by providing and adding branches like mechatronics, EV, industrial automation, etc. to strengthen the core domains. On the other hand, it is very, very, very important for us to start upskilling students in Industry 4.0 technologies, where we could also be part of this revolution, or else we might have to face further challenges in our core domain, which I believe. It is not like colleges are not working for it. I personally being in touch with more than 400 colleges across India. Almost every day I can connect with 20-30 colleges, professors, HODs, principal, even chairman of colleges, and try to figure out that what is happening. And we got to know that everything which is required to upskill student is in place. The education's body are working rigorously to minimize the gap, but somewhere down the line, on the execution side, things are not performing well. And we see colleges is the change maker. Colleges are the one who actually execute all these initiatives which are being taken by education's body. We have credit system, we have elective courses, we have internships, we have minor and final year projects. There is so much which we have decided to provide students so that they can strengthen themselves and be industry ready. And for that, we require colleges to strengthen themselves and work a lot on the execution side to make these things work. If there is internship compulsory for students, we make sure that a third year guy in his 6th semester have an industrial internship in his hand. If there are credit scores, elective courses, we make sure that student is learning at par in those elective courses in emerging technologies. And for that, we are being a helping hand to associate and launch AIC ecosystem with a vision where we feel If the team of ETG and SAE India, every day, whenever the discussion comes into picture, we discuss that how we can create an ecosystem which could impart knowledge of IITs, NITs, and Stanford to students across India. If a private college of a tier 3, tier 2 cities is being there, how we can strengthen themselves to impart knowledge which is level of an IIT or a Stanford. And it might sound funny to you, but we see that it is very possible to do with the help of colleges. And for that, we need the support. Now, next thing comes forward is that how we can make students industry ready. What are the major things which we have to work on? First thing first is industry interaction, which is very, very important to work on. Why I'm saying this to you, I would like to show you a recent survey or sort of a engagement which we have done with student. It's of July 2021, where we have run an event called Skill India Initiative. I might use this presentation or this survey in hundreds of my presentation to show what is the actual reality of student, what a student think. And I want all the faculties and management who are seeing this webinar to look at this survey very carefully to understand what is the actual depth problem presenting here. These are some 9,400 students who have attended one of our initiative where we were providing 5,000 industrial internship to students across India. There were students from all the stream, mechanical, electronics, electrical, from all the years, 3rd, 2nd, 4th, and almost from 1,200 colleges across India who been part of this initiative. We asked them questions like, what are your career goals? 77% said jobs, 16% said higher studies. In which all industry you would want to work? Data science, mechanical, programming, automotive, electric vehicle, robotics. And this is what students eager to work with. And then these are the few questions which I would like you guys to actually look into. A very self-realization question which is being asked: do you think you should invest in upskilling yourself, or your degree is good enough? This is the one question being asked without any background, without any intention. It was just a raw data which is being circulated to students to understand what they think. And we were shocked to see 90% of them feel like they need to upskill themselves. And then we try to figure out, is it just the technical skill they want to learn? They just want to go through a course. They want to learn something which is used in industry, or apart from that, something else as well. And here we got this, we call it as diamond data to understand what students are looking for. If you see 60% of them are saying they need to know knowledge of industry, roles, what industry expects from them. If a student understands that in his early year of engineering, he can shape himself, he can upskill himself as per the industry standard. Because of lack of awareness about industrial roles, what industry expect, that's where the main problem starts. And you can see that is being marked by 60% of them. 50% says technical skills, 31% says soft skills, 66% of them says experience of industrial exposure, industrial project, internships, and then around 24% says unaware of what all to do apart from academics. So if you see, we can work on a micro level to make students aware and understand from their very early year of engineering that what industry look into. As rightly, I was like, how Rao sir, Maji sir, Muni sir have briefed you about what are the industrial expectations, challenges, how few of the colleges are working on it by tying up with international universities or industries. We need to strengthen our industry interaction. And SAEINDIA and ETG are working on that so that we could aware student on a very greater level. Second, multidisciplinary program. A mechanical guy should learn about electric vehicle, mechatronics, industrial automation, data science. He should get that exposure, not just as a minor project, not just as a minor elective course, but as a specialization program along with his undergraduation, and that to a level so that we can recommend him to an industry and say, this guy have a mechanical degree. Along with that, he have a good exposure in electric vehicle. Would you like to hire him? And that level of an extra advantage we want to build among students. Third, by providing industrial projects, to make them participate in competitions, events, so that they can build their CV and engage themselves during their undergraduation. And fourth, there should be a helping hand for students who could make them participate or who can place them into internships, jobs, or help them into higher studies. So these are the key 4 areas on which college and we have to associate and work on so that student can be employable. On next of that, I would like to brief you a little about what we are doing in this academia industry collaboration along with SA in India, and what exactly we'll be doing along with the colleges to strengthen their student. We are launching 4 major specialization program for undergraduate engineers, where they'll be learning in depth about the industrial trends and technologies. First is CAE and mechanical design engineering. Second, data science with machine and deep learning. Third, electric vehicle engineering, and fourth is mechatronics engineering. We have done a very intensive survey of all these 4 domains to understand what are the industrial requirement from a fresher. And if you just look at the screen, you will try to see in CA design engineering, we have roles like mechanical design engineer, or electronics engineer, product design engineer. And for that, we have surveyed and even analyzed more than 500 jobs, which are available either online, or we interacted with the industry to understand what they need from an engineer who is a fresher for these positions. And here we try to figure out that design is fundamental. 2D, 3D modeling, AutoCAD, SolidWorks, CATIA is fundamental for students to understand. But on top of that, what they should do, a student who knows 2D modeling, he should also have good understanding of FEA CFD, which covers almost 60-70% of requirement. He should have good understanding of vehicle dynamics, which covers 21% of requirement, and same way for electrical and mechatronics. So considering and understanding the industrial requirement, after interacting with industry, we try to develop an year-long in-depth specialization program in CE and mechanical design engineering. Same way we have did it for data science, where we know these are the job positions like Python developer, data scientist, AI specialist, data manager, and what industries is looking for, and how we can make them industry ready. And all that which I'm showing you here is equally possible for every domain. A mechanical engineer or automotive engineer can learn about data science, and same way from an electronics and electrical engineer can do. And a computer science engineer can by default do it. So these programs are being designed considering interdisciplinary module, where even an electric vehicle engineering module can be learned by any domain of engineer if we have interest in this. If you look at the requirement here, AutoSAR, CAN, power electronics, DFME, CAD, FE, embedded system, what all is being required in electric vehicle, what are the positions, what are software need to be learned, and what positions a student can work on. This is how intensively we have worked and researched to make sure that students become industry ready before they graduate. These programs are designed and taught by top industry experts, and we are blessed to have such team on board who, out of their interest, just because they feel like when we were in our college, we faced the same issue. Wheresoever, like Sundar, he say, whatever I become by myself after completing my graduation, getting into industry, getting as a trainee engineer to today as a senior design engineer in Honda, and I don't want students to face the same issue. I want them to upskill, and all of the experts which we have, I say 120, 100, 120 plus experts, all of them, I have the same intention that yes, we see that ETG SA India is doing something great, and we want us to contribute in this initiative, and you say whatsoever we can do on that. So students who are going to learn these technologies will be taught by these industry experts. Next, a very flagship thing which I would like to show to every one of you, that we are trying to build that revolution by imparting infrastructure in colleges. How great it would be. How great it would be when students have great infrastructure available in their college, in terms of an electric vehicle lab, an industrial automation lab, a design lab, and on top of that, they are learning from these industry experts. While learning, they are getting hands-on projects to practice, which they will do in their college itself. I'll just give you a few examples here. In electric vehicle lab, if students are getting a chance to work on Ether's lithium-ion cell battery, and they could understand what is the cell charge discharge cycle test, they could understand various C rates. This is what we want to develop in colleges. That level of exposure we want to give to students. They could do a range test simulation for ultraviolet on a dynamometer to understand what is the range of the motor controller and how exactly it is being worked. How it is possible? It is not just possible by imparting online knowledge to students, but it requires some offline engagement through these labs and infrastructure. So what we are trying to build here is that the colleges who are associating with us, we will try to help them to develop these labs. And we make sure that students who are learning in depth through the specialization program will actually do their minor, major research projects by using colleges and infrastructure in those labs. And that will make it possible where you can proudly go and say to a core industry that our students have developed these projects in our college itself. Do you want them to work for you? And I can say that recently we got in touch with Aether. We got in touch with their co-founder and we understood, we tried to figure out what they look into. They said, Mayank, we did 3 placement drive recently in tier 1, tier 2 colleges. Students who are very much active in SAE events, who are getting into e-Baha, who are doing much engagement activities. And then it took us a lot of effort from there to get those students on board and work with us. It would be great if we have such an exposure during the undergraduate itself. On top of that, they will have infrastructure facility to work on these projects. On top of that, they will have events like Baha, Supra to participate and have those practical implementation. Then that guy would be someone whom we would love to hire. And this sort of an aura we want to create in every college across India. Now, in short, I would like to tell you that what 3 key areas we are working on for students. 1, internship. 2, higher studies. And 3rd, startup. It is not just job everyone is looking at. And even for job, what level of support they require after completion of the program. We are developing a portal. We are mapping right skilled engineers with industry. For higher studies, you all know, we have department heads, we have principals here in this session. Every completion of a year, we see so many students coming up for letter of recommendation, statement of purpose, project reports. How great it would be if they're getting those LORs from industry experts. They have SOPs which can validate their interest in that particular domain so that they can get into great colleges and get good amount of scholarship as well. Startup. We see Shark Tank coming up. This next 5 years will be revolution in startup industry, and engineers are the key movers in startups. I can proudly say that the most number of startups which are being run and successfully run most of them are engineers. Can't we create such ecosystem in college where we can work on the ideation, we can provide technical assistance, we can help them in developing their pitch for funding, we can collaborate with them to provide technical assistance or any sort of assistance they require. It is possible. We have seen recently few 3 to 4 students in Shark Tank, and I've seen that they have developed an e-bike which will be helping for delivery and which will be having for putting up a portable bench on which people can have cart, people can sell stuff, people can have a food cart, and such a great idea. And every one of us might have understood this is required. People are doing jugaad by customizing a Luna or customizing a bike, but they have actually developed it as a product and they got the funding. Don't you think every college student have that capacity to do it? And we should make it possible by providing them that resources. On top of this, when student is completing the program, they need credible sources, they need credible certificates, they need people to trust them that yes, they have done something great. Students will be getting certificate, students will be getting letter of recommendation, they'll be getting project report, which will validate their learning and which they can showcase to industry. So at last, I would like to tell you that we are working on 3 pillars. First, we are making students industry ready. Second, we are making colleges perform better. And third, we are making industry hire better. And that is our vision and that is our mission on which we are working. And how we are making colleges perform better. We are strengthening the colleges by introducing these latest technologies. I say and I crave for it that within next 2 years down the line, the colleges who have associated with us to launch these programs, you will see those colleges offering the specialization program to the first year guys when they are coming for admission. A student coming to college in counseling and he wants admission in a branch, college will not just offer him a degree. College will offer, you take mechanical engineering, along with that you have 5 options. Data science, mechatronics, robotics, EV, you tell what you want to do on top of this. And that level of ecosystem we want to build in colleges. So that student would be super clear during his first year itself that I don't just want to do mechanical engineering, I also want to be part of electric vehicle. And that's how we want to build it. We want them to strengthen their curriculum. We are helping them to increase in placements because such 5,000 to 7,000 students who will be completing this AIC in 2022. Just imagine we have 40 lakh engineers who are studying in undergraduation today. With the level of knowledge we want to impart, what do you think? How many percent of students have already done that during an undergraduation? Not even 1% of them. So these 5 to 7,000 students to whom we'll be training this year are in those top 1% student who will have that level of a knowledge which is required by industry, and what level of impact it will create on the placement of the college. It will be appreciated by NAC and NIF ranking because we have so much to show in terms of activities. And last, specialized offered by the college in latest technologies. And same way, we are collaborating with industries. We have a special team who is working on this. Every day we connect with industry to create the demand, to understand their requirement, to formally associate with them, so that as soon as the student pass out, we make sure that they are working in our associate industries. And I think I'm done. I'll take 2 more minutes to conclude. At last, I would like to tell you that this academy industry collaboration, we are thinking to launch it in 50 institutions in first phase. So to ensure that we have good quality, good outcome, we have that exclusivity among those colleges to create it as a brand. We'll be launching this program in only 50 colleges across India. Those selected institutes will be working hard. Along with them, will be working with the training and placement cell, with all their departments to understand the gap and to upskill their student to a level where they can be industry ready. We'll be providing high discounted fees to the first phase of colleges to launch this program, and there will be a lot more which will be shared. On top of this, as student is a paying customer for this program, so we understood that it would not be easy for a student to pay a lump sum amount in one go. We worked hard to get in touch with many financial institutes, and we got finally Propelled on board. And Propelled is our financing partner who will be providing easy monthly installment option to the student, where and ETG will be not charging any interest fee, zero processing fee or any additional charges. It will be very easy for student to apply for this loan, where they just have to give their PAN card or Aadhaar card. That's it, no ITR, nothing. And their loan will be approved, and they'll be parents will be very less burdened, where student is paying monthly installment of 2,000, 2,500 or at max 3,000 rupees, and he's getting chance to be part of such a great initiative to upskill himself. So at last, the colleges who will be taking forward this initiative have to fill an interest form. I'm just sharing it here in the chat option, and even all the colleges are going to get a mail if we have your email ID who are attending this initiative. Once you fill this interest form, this is the form where you have to fill basic detail about your college, about your designation, and then you have to tell us what you're looking for. What are the key reasons for you to initiate it in your college? You want to boost admission, you want to boost student participation in events, you want your students to have in-depth industrial exposure, you want to work on academy industry interaction. So there are few 7-8 key parameters which you can select. It's a multiple selection option, so that we could understand what are your expectations from this association. And then we'll make sure that in the first 50 colleges, we go ahead and interact with them, and then come to the college, have an interaction with their student to see their interest, and then initiate this program from March. So on top of this, I would like to conclude and say that SAEINDIA and ETGs are working very closely to revolutionize engineering education in India. We have supporting from Rashmi ma'am, Muni sir, Rao sir, Maji sir, such eminent people who are putting up their efforts and time selflessly to support us in this initiative, where we could actually impart knowledge to students and make them industry ready. And every college in India can have an ecosystem of an Stanford or an NUS or an IIT, and that is not possible by putting some effort from the college side. Students are always eager for exposure, projects, networking. It just we and college have to join hands to take this initiative forward, and we want their support on that. So thank you everyone. Thank you for your time. And I believe just after this, we'll be sharing you this link. I think I'll just message it here, and whosoever think that this is an initiative they want to go ahead within their college, they can fill the form. I'm open to questions. If anyone have any questions, they can ask. or else we can conclude the session. Over to you, Hassan.
Yes, is there any questions which you want to ask? You can unmute now, and sir, can you give the unmute option? Okay.
And I have just messaged the form option here in the chat group. Please.
Professor, who have any questions, please unmute yourself and ask. Or you can drop a message in the chat box. We'll take.
We got a question, Hassan, from Gyanendra Sinha. Sir is saying that how we can confirm that our college is taking part in this program. So, sir, you have to fill this request form, which I've just shared in the chat option here. Hassan, if you can just pin this form, that will be great. The last comment which I've done. And after filling this form, we'll get back to you on Monday to understand your requirement, and then we will see how to take it forward.
Sorry to speak you in between Mayank and Hassan. Actually, myself Anand Patel from Charles State University in Gujarat. But actually now presently I am unable to fill the form because I want a request, I think, from your end. So you need permission that I actually found from that honors organization.
Okay, I didn't got it, sir. Sorry. Permission for?
Permission, just I need the permission to fill up the form. That is not accessible from.
He has to get the permission from the whoever is the
yes, sir. Yes,
of the college.
Okay, so basically, sir, this is a form where you are showing your interest, and after that, we'll be having a word with you to understand the requirement.
Definitely, Mayank, sir. But actually, I know to.
Okay, just a second. I'll just share the link with you again.
You cannot edit the form.
Yes.
Oh, is it?
Oh, okay. Just a second, sir.
Yes, okay, so it's okay,
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, Mayank, first of all, I congratulate and really welcome this. You're going to make a difference. I'm Maji from, now I'm actually basically 25 years worked in various sectors like government, IT and other areas. Most of my work in IT, about 20 plus years, in US, other parts of the world. And I have been volunteering Lead India Foundation to promote Dr. APJ Abdul Kalamji's vision. In this connection, I have got access to some good number of universities and good number of colleges where they keep asking me to help their students. So probably I would request you to your team now to once again we can patch up for the independent call, and I have a few number of good colleges where we can definitely take this opportunity, at the earliest possible.
Definitely, sir. Is it possible for you to just comment your contact? Details so that I can contact you after the session?
Definitely, I have already mentioned in the chat. Maybe if it is okay. Otherwise, if you want me to,
it works, sir. It works. I'll just copy it from the chat.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much.
I'll copy it from the chat, sir.
Yeah.
Done. Yeah, anyone else have any other thing to ask, please? And thank you, Ram sir, for taking this initiative forward. We need people like you to spread this. And it's like, you see, there are 3,500 engineering colleges today. Hardly 20-25% of them are proactive into various activities. And even in that, we hardly see 5-7% of the student strength who being indulged into various activity. 90-95% of the engineering crowd still being inactive due to various reasons. And we see through these initiatives and through support from your side and people like you, we could make it possible to increase that strength of proactiveness in colleges and make students employable. And one more thing, I have just reactivated the link and I have shared it in the comment. Please check if you can, Anand sir, if you can access this link and fill the form. Please check it.
Yes, done, done, Mayank.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
There was one question with the question on data, some management, like not in now.
I'm just checking.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, there's a great use of data science in mechanical engineering. We so many work is being currently students in IT colleges got placed in Amazon. Who were their specific requirement was that they should be mechanical engineer and will be working on space. I'll tell you a recent example. Autonomous vehicle is very emerging technology which is coming up. We have so many technology opportunities in that, where in this excellence lab which we're developing in electric vehicle, equally on that we'll be developing autonomous lab where working on project mechanical. It has implemented science, mechanical and core branches being universal, which can fit into any domain. On top of this, if this guy knows data science, machine learning, Python or programming, you just see what upper hand he'll be having as compared to any branch guy, because he know the practicality about machines as well, and on top of that he'll be working on the programming side of it. So I think always and always, if I being a data science organization, recently, if I give you one more example, there's a company called Neuropixel who being replicating the main e-commerce website photos by just putting up their AI and ML and making them interactive. They say that we only want people from mechanical engineering because they know the practicality involved in machines, because they'll be replicating a machine through ML and AI. And on top of that, their requirement was that he should know well versed with deep learning neural network. If that is there, we would be happy to hire him. So we want mechanical students and core students to strengthen and providing them project computer vision, all that along with the data science and machine learning.
Yeah, I need to just, in addition to that, can I share something?
Yeah, sure, please.
I don't remember who has asked this question. It's an interesting question. Say, for example, I'm sure all of you might have heard about Industry 4.0, that is 4.0. The moment you talk about Industry 4.0, which means all the machines, equipment, everything is connected. You generate data, nothing but data. The moment you generate data, you need data science. For example, in aircraft engine, per second it generates terabytes of data. We analyze a lot of data from the engine and other subsystems. So any engineer with mechanical background and data science knowledge would always be a big asset. Yeah, I'm done.
Thank you, sir. Is home to everyone? Umang just have shared a link here at 5:28 p.m. You can click on that and please tell whether it is accessible or not.
Hello.
Any other? Yeah, please.
Good evening, Mayank. Thank you for your wonderful presentation about broad specialization about the courses available for the students. Okay. So basically, I'm a faculty from Maharashtra. Actually, I work in Pillai College of Engineering. And after a part for log so and the technical at that moment E was emerging actually. So we were developing, so I thought I need to upgrade myself. I can teach my students once they get out after 4 years, they should have something except the degree, they'll have some background at their end that they have learned data science. The difficulty where I'm facing is that being a faculty, I should know that where I can apply this concept in the mechanical and automobile. Getting it? So if a faculty is well known about the application, then obviously students will be even more beneficial from that. So if there is any faculty development program for the faculty, so that you can just relate this concept can be applied in this particular field according to the industry, then that will be beneficial for faculty as well. Then we will also convey to our students. That will be best. That is my question, and if it is there, then I'm very welcome. Thank you.
Mr. Shiv Prasad, I think you have brought up a very, very important point.
Yes, sir.
I think skill development of students, is equally important to actually periodically for the faculty also to go through some refresher courses.
Exactly, sir. Right.
When I was in IIT, a lot of faculty members from different colleges used to come for what they used to call quality improvement program, QIP. I think that's a very good concept, and I think as an extension of what Mayank is proposing to do, we should also do something for faculty members. I strongly feel that is also required.
True, sir. And because you guys are the one who are 24/7 in touch with students.
Yeah.
And if you strengthen the faculties, then those knowledge are going to be transferred to the student. And through this initiative, as rightly said by Rao sir also, that we will be looking forward to work closely with the faculties, because it's not everything will be done by us. We need your support on this, where you could be the one who will be imparting and transferring knowledge to them. And Shiv Prasad sir, we will be surely working on this, and soon, within a month or two, you will be seeing various initiatives coming up for faculties in these domains.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayank, I checked the form, it is working perfect, and I also submitted the form without any issues.
Okay, thank you, sir. We'll be surely contacting you back either on tomorrow or on Monday, sir.
Sure, that's great.
Any other last questions? Can have one more question. I think. Okay, so then. Okay, sir. Thank you, Mayank, for the brief presentation of our upcoming initiatives. Now, I request Mr. Sheshadri, Executive Director of SAE India, to deliver the vote of thanks for this program.
Thank you, Hassan. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I deem it a proud privilege to propose a hearty vote of thanks at the end of this excellent meeting. I must thank Madam President, Mrs. Rashmi Urdoshi, for signing the MOU for the launch of the academia industry collaboration and making this initiative possible. Thank you, Madam. We thank Mr. I.V. Rao, who is highly respected and revered by the professionals and peers in the industry, for presenting the transformation over the last 20 years in such minute details. Thank you, Mr. Rao San. And you identified new age mobility solutions which are required, for which the engineering students will have to be trained and prepared for. We thank Mr. Professor Maji, who is a very senior faculty member with us, who have been very long association with SAE India. He described the skill gaps and how this initiative will make the students industry ready. Thank you, Professor Maji. Our Engineering Education Board Chair, Mr. Munirathnam, described the disturbing scenario in terms of employability and lack of training and skill development expected from new age employers. So he identified this association, the launch of the new initiative will be a great boon to the engineering students to become industry ready in terms of skills. We thank Mr. Mayank for making a very professional presentation and the work that has already been done by ETG Group and the work that they are planning to do along with SAE India, and I am sure both of us together can make this a success. Thank you, Mayank, and thank all the participants who have been so much interest and raised interesting questions even at the end of the meeting after over 2 hours. We thank all of you, and I thank Hassan for being the MC for the evening. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you all. Thanks for that's it. We can wrap up this event. Thanks for joining.
Thank you all. I'm sorry I was in 2 meetings one with the faculty attending that. I'm very sorry, but anyway, very interesting meeting, and all the best, Mr. Mayank, and all the best to all the students, faculty members. Thank you, Rao sir, for your. I have learned a lot of things from your presentation today, but your presentation I could hear. There was no disturbance with me. I could hear.
Thank you.
राव साहब एक दिन मैं आपसे डिस्कस करना चाहता हूँ थोड़ा बहुत. You have explained so nicely what is the technology change and all.
Anytime.
I really want to. Sometime I want to discuss with you many things.
Oh, anytime.
Maji sir, please let me join that class. Okay, great. Thank you, Rao sir. Thank you all. Muni
Thank
sir.
you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah. And
SAE India is India's leading resource for mobility technology. As an individual member-driven society of mobility practitioners, the ownership of SAE India rests with its members who are individuals from the mobility community, which includes engineers, executives from industry, government officials, academics, and students. SAE India is a strategic alliance partner of SAE International, registered in India as an Indian non-profit engineering and scientific society dedicated to the advancement of the mobility industry in India. The most preferred technical body for knowledge dissemination and skill development of mobility professionals, students and faculty. We are a trusted think tank advising policymakers on mobility-related matters. We are a self-sustaining society with more than 10% of mobility professionals as members. We are a nimble and professional organization creating value for mobility engineering community. The Indian government is also actively promoting indigenization with cutting-edge technologies by manufacturing them in the country under Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat.